welcome to News Round, a recap of stories that made headlines during the week. Coming up, organized labor unions, Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria call off their indefinite nationwide strike after meeting with federal government representatives. Former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, arraigned for alleged 1.6 billion naira procurement fraud, remanded in Kogi prison. Appeal court sacks Kano governor from office, upholds victory of Bauchi and Lagos governors. Plus, Israeli troops show video of Hamas weapons and combat gear at Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza, Gaza Strip during a search on Wednesday. And that's News Round in view. We'll begin News Round now with Labour matters, as the Joint National Executive Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria suspended their indefinite nationwide strike. This came after representatives of the federal government met behind closed doors with the leadership of the NLC and the TUC to negotiate at the office of the National Security Advisor to the President. But prior to that meeting, the unions had made good their threat to begin a nationwide industrial action. Here's a report of how it went down in the South.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Following the circular from Joint Labour in regards to a suspension of services at government and private organizations, there's been mixed level of compliance with the industrial action. In the southern part of the country, most states observed the strike, especially at government offices. In Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, staff of the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company was stranded at the gate, which is under lock and key in compliance with the industrial action by the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress.
As at yesterday, between 2 and 5, the joint NEC was conducted, and it was from that meeting that was resolved unanimously that we should embark on that indefinite strike, which commenced 12 midnight. And we are here, and we have been going around to ensure that there is compliance.
In Lagos State, the nation's commercial capital, the NLC-TUC strike has taken its toll on activities at the ports, as the Nigeria Ports Authority in Apapa is completely shut down and people are displeased with closure and enforced strike.
This is the main port. There is no activity taking place there. If you see any bus going to the other side, the administrative building, we are obeying the National President Directive.
But a rowdy scene erupts as some oppose the strike action. The story is, however, different at the local wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, which has been buzzing with activities, with passengers visiting airline ticketing counters for their flight tickets and other boarding documents. So far, the call by organized labor is not impacting on flight operations at the airport, but it seems like plans have been put in place to forestall any breaches due to the strike call, as security personnel are on standby. In River State, offices within the Federal Secretariat along Aba Road, which houses multiple ministries, departments and agencies, were largely empty. Those that were open had very few staff at work. Some of the offices visited include Federal Character Commission, Ministry of Works, Housing, and the Nigerian Immigration Service, among others. The chairman of the NLC and TUC also briefed the press.
Organized labor is complying with the national directive. We may not have achieved 100% today, but as we progress, because this is an indefinite strike, we will ensure full compliance.
In Edo State, a strict adherence to the NLC-TUC directives are being implemented as the NLC state chairman and other officials went around locking out civil servants who made it to the office environment, including the State High Court, and some financial institutions in the state were also locked, leaving customers to use ATM terminals. Meanwhile, in Delta State, the story is the same, as the premises of the Delta State Secretariat along the Mariam Babangida Road is shut, while workers who showed up for work were asked to go home. Also, teaching and learning activities could not hold in government schools across the state, where teachers and students in compliance were sent home. Flight services are not disrupted at the Sam Bakwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri, Imo State. With this level of compliance to the labor directive, many Nigerians hope that whatever the issue between labor and government is, it should be resolved in good time before it has adverse effects on economic activities. Meanwhile, work in government offices and some private businesses suffered severe disruptions across some states in the northern parts of the country and the Federal Capital Territory following the strike. Take a listen.
The Federal Secretariat in Abuja is a shadow of itself, as few workers clock into the complex, which houses most government agencies in the nation's capital. It is the first day of the Labour nationwide strike, and officials of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress are moving around the city to enforce compliance. At the Ministry of Finance, the Labour leaders shut the gate preventing workers from accessing their offices. Not even a court order by the Ministry of Justice could stop the unions from embarking on the strike.
Our president was highly embarrassed. We have reported this matter. Nothing is being done about it. So why is it that the way it has to be checked is to serve the union with a court injunction? We will not accept that. And as long as nothing is being done about the issue we have presented, about our demand, we will not understand anything. And so we stand to continue with this strike until the right thing is to, until our demands are addressed by the government of the day.
Do federal government even respect the court? They don't follow the court order. They don't, so it can happen to them. And injury to one is injury to all. Right. If we fold our arms and sit down and be monitoring what is going on, it could be you or I tomorrow.
The enforcement exercise was also carried out in private offices, including banks.
We are not going to shut down. It's a simple thing. Don't shut down the system.
Outside the nation's capital, officials of the NLC and TUC shut the gates of schools, hospitals, and state secretariats in Zamfara, Niger, Katsina, and Plateau states.
This is not the first time Ajero was beaten. Even during Ashomali, he was attacked and even taken to the prison. So beating him is not an issue, but it's something that you have to show your concern. If we didn't come out and show our grudges, whom are we?
You can see total compliance. Nobody is inside. No life, no activities taking place inside that place. It's under lock and key, and it's in total compliance on the plateau.
It is a different ball game in Kwara, Sokoto, and Kaduna states, where the directive for indefinite strike was partially complied with.
We received that directive yesterday in the night that all affiliates of TUC and LLC and that of State Council, which include TUC and LLC, they should comply with their directives and join the strike around 12 midnight from yesterday or yesterday night. So that's why we are complying with the national directive to see that this strike is on.
Some workers in Kaduna State seem to be unaware of the directive to down tools. However, these electricity workers at the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company are in full compliance with the directives of the NLC and TUC.
We locked the premises, not only Kaduna Electric, the entire power sector, which is my constituency, in compliance with the directive of Nigerian Labour Congress as an affiliate of Nigerian Labour Congress.
The national leadership of the NLC and TUC had directed their members to proceed a nationwide indefinite strike in protest of the attack on the NLC president, Mr. Joe Ajaero, in Imo State. The Labour leaders are demanding that the federal government intervene in the incident. Although the federal government had described the action as unnecessary, the Labour leaders appear to be undeterred as they vow to continue with the strike until their demands are met.
And to legal matters, former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele has been remanded at the Kogi Correctional Center, Abuja, where he will remain until his bail application hearing on November the 22nd. This followed the order of Justice Hamza Mwazu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court that he be remanded thereafter his arraignment at the court on a 6-count charge bordering on alleged procurement fraud. The charges were reduced from 20 to 6, while the amount on the charge sheet was also reduced from 6.5 to 1.6 billion naira.
The former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, at the Federal Capital Territory High Court on Friday to answer to a 6-count amended charges brought against him by the federal government, bordering on procurement fraud amounting to 1.6 billion naira. Initially, the federal government had leveled a 20-count charge against the ex-CBN governor for procurement fraud involving 6.5 billion naira. However, this was later reduced to 6 counts, totaling over 1.6 billion naira, for which he was arraigned. The 6-count amended charges include alleged procurement of 37 Toyota Hilux vehicles, totaling 854 million naira. 1 Toyota Avalon amounting to 99.9 million naira, 1 Toyota Land Cruise V8 amounting to 73 million naira, 1 Toyota Land Cruise V8 amounting to 69.9 million naira, 1 Toyota Land Cruiser V8 69.9 million naira, and 2 Toyota Hilux amounting to 44.2 million naira. The charge states that this was awarded through a staff of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Ms. Saudat Suyaro, and they are all contrary to Section 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. During the proceedings, Mr. Matthew Booker, Emefiele's counsel, applied for bail. This was vehemently opposed by Mr. Rotimi Oyedepo, who is the counsel to the federal government. In response, the presiding judge, Justice Hamza Mwazu, stated that a ruling on the bail application could not be delivered today based on authorities referenced by both parties. He expressed the need to review the exhibits submitted by Emefiele in support of his bail application. Consequently, Justice Mwazu ordered Emefiele to be remanded at the Kogi Correctional Center until the determination of his bail application. The judge then adjourned the case for a ruling on the bail application to November 22 and set November 28 as the commencement date for the trial.
What has happened today is simple. It's in line with the administration of criminal justice system. The arraignment has taken place. The defendant was in court as ordered by my Lord the Honorable Justice Adeni. You recall that on the 8th of November, the court has granted him interim bail and handed him over to us. He has been available and we've been able to produce him to court. And he came to court willingly and has submitted to the jurisdiction of the court.
The prosecution expresses readiness to commence with the trial.
We had equally prayed the court for expeditious hearing and determination of the case. And my Lord had given us a date also for trial. My Lord had told us that we should assemble our witnesses, and I believe with the cooperation of the defense, the case will be heard and determined expeditiously. Thank you so much.
Am I right to say that the witnesses are ready to come testify?
You can see that we pledged before the court that delay will not come from the state, and we are very pleased to tell you that we are ready, prepared to assemble our witnesses and discharge the honors that really placed on us to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt.
Mr. Godwin Emefiele, who is the only defendant in the new charge, is the first former governor of the central bank to be facing charges for action taken while in office. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
And when news round returns, Israeli troops show video of alleged Hamas armory in Al-Shifa Hospital, the Gaza Strip. Stay with us. Welcome back. Staying with the judiciary, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has upheld the judgment of the Kano State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which removed Governor Abba Yusuf from office. A three-member panel of the Court of Appeal, led by Justice Mo Adume, ruled that Governor Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party was not validly nominated for the Kano State governorship election. Meanwhile, it was victory for Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, as another panel of the Appeal Court, led by Justice Chidi Uwa, upheld his election in the March 18, 2023 exercise.
The huge crowd at the entrance of the Appeal Court in Abuja gives an indication of what to expect from the day's court sitting. It is Judgment Day for the appeal filed by Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State, who is challenging the judgment of the tribunal, which sacked him in September, and that of the Bauchi State governorship candidate for the All Progressives Congress, who appealed the judgment of the tribunal that upheld the election of Governor Bala Mohammed. Security operatives struggled to control access, firing tear gas to disperse the crowd, who were trying to force their way through. Inside, supporters of both parties filled the courtroom, where Justice Mo Adume leads a three-member panel on the Kano State election petition appeal. Governor Yusuf is challenging the tribunal judgment on 9 grounds, including that the tribunal erred in nullifying his election on the basis of unsigned ballot paper, that the tribunal erred when it ruled that he was not properly nominated by his party, that the tribunal erred to have deducted all votes recorded in the unstamped ballots. One after the other, the appeal court delivered judgment on all 9 issues brought before it in favor of Mr. Nasir Gawuna, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, and awards of 1 million naira cost against the Kano State governor.
We have stated it even before we filed the petition that the NLPP did not win by a majority of the valid votes, and also NLPP did not have a valid candidate. Today we have been justified. The Court of Appeal has upheld our argument. All the 3 appeals filed by Abba Kabir Yusuf, NNPP and INEC has been dismissed, and of course our cross appeal has been upheld. Cost of 1 million naira was awarded against the appellates. This is to show you what the Court of Appeal thinks about the appeal itself, because in the judgment you have heard what the justices said, that it is no longer the case when political parties will, to the detriment of the provisions of the Constitution, just unilaterally impose a person who is not a member of a political party to contest in an election.
In a related development, another 3-man panel of the Court of Appeal, this time led by Justice Chidi Uwa, aligned with the judgment of the Bauchi State Election Petitions Tribunal, which upheld the election of Governor Bala Mohammed. The panel of 3 justices unanimously uphold the judgment of the lower court, which affirms the election of Governor Bala Mohammed and dismissed the allegations of non-compliance with electoral law, improper fillings of forms and booklets used for the election, and fraudulent cancellation of result sheets. Outside the courtrooms, it is celebration for those who won, and for those who lost out in the appeal. The Supreme Court remains the last resort to seek redress.
Meanwhile, the appeal court sitting in Lagos Island has affirmed the judgment of the election tribunal upholding the return of Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Kadri Hamzat as the governor and deputy governor of Lagos State. The appeal court panel, led by Justice Yagata Nimpa, in a unanimous decision, dismissed the appeal filed by the People's Democratic Party and that of the Labour Party, as well as their candidates, for lacking in merit.
Well, I mean, I don't want to litigate the cases again. You know, it's been, and I took time to read the judgment of the tribunal, and to me it was impeccable. It looks, like I said, very lucid. It was well explained, even to non-lawyers. It was tied to various cases, various other cases. So, for me, it seems that the tribunal did their job. And talking to other lawyers, senior ones, and of course the young ones, they were of the opinion that this is a solid case. So, you leave it to the judiciary and you do what you have to do. That's it. That's for the lawyers to be apprehensive, not for me. Well, we are doing our job. We just keep going. Remember, the election took place months ago. The people of the state voted for us. So that for us is the most important. The ability to convince fellow citizens, Lagosians, on what we intend to do. So those are the things we must focus on and do. So we will not be distracted by this. It's important. It's part of our process. In my view, it improves our democratic credentials. However, we must do what we have to do. And that's what the governor and myself and the whole cabinet, that's what we are doing, satisfying the needs of Lagosians.
And the governorship election in Kogi State, which produced Usman Ododo of the All Progressives Congress as winner after polling 446,000 votes to defeat his closest rival, Mr. Murtala Jaka of the Social Democratic Party, who polled 259,052 votes. However, the collation agents of the SDP and the People's Democratic Party had objections on some of the results of the election.
The arrival of officials at the State Collation Center in Lokoja signals the commencement of the collation of results in the Kogi State governorship election. The returning officer first gives a remark.
We are not here to fight or have issues. We are all working together. At the end, we want to bring the best out of this election.
Then collation begins with results from Ogonimagongo local government area.
Total number of registered voters, 17,688.
This is followed by results from Ida, Yagba West and Okeyi local government areas.
ADC 9-1.
However, party agents of the Social Democratic Party and the People's Democratic Party questioned the results from Okeyi local government area.
I have a petition before me on the conduct of the elections in Okene, Okeyi, and Adabi. I'm bringing it now just because I don't want it to become maybe a repetition.
The collation exercise then continues, and sometime past 10 p.m., the result of the entire 21 local government areas are in, and the results are declared.
Usman Ododo of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
The APC receives the news and celebrates with Governor Yahya Bello and the governor-elect. Both Governor Bello and Mr. Ododo extend the olive branch to those who lost in the election.
I extend the hands of fellowship on behalf of the governor-elect and deputy governor-elect, our party, and this current administration. Come on board. Still come and join me before I even wind down. I pledge to serve and to lead with accountability, transparency, and inclusivity. Therefore, I call on you all, especially my brothers, the co-contestants, to come and join me.
Residents of Kogi State will be looking forward to how the new leadership plans to reconcile all the divisions in the state amidst the rejection of results by some political parties. From Lokoja, Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
And finally, a news round. Israel has admitted its forces continue operating in around Gaza's biggest hospital, Al-Shifa. According to the army, this is a chief objective in its campaign to destroy Hamas men, adding that the Palestinian group stored weapons and ran a command center in tunnels beneath the hospital buildings. Israeli troops forced their way into Al-Shifa hospital in the early hours of Wednesday and spent the day deepening their search. Israeli army video shows automatic weapons, grenades, ammunition, and flak jackets.
As you can see from the sign behind me, and as you can clearly see from the building, we are going to do a one-shot video. One shot, no editing of all of the evidence that we have found just now in this building of the Shifa. inside the MRI center of the Shifa hospital. Israeli troops breached here a few hours ago, and we have cleared the area, make sure that it's safe. And a few of the most interesting things that we have found totally confirm, without any doubt, that Hamas systematically uses hospitals in their military operations in violation of international law. And what we have found, I think, is only the tip of the iceberg. Let me show you a few examples. Security cameras have been obstructed. All of the security cameras are covered, and this isn't the only one. You'll see the rest of them here. Follow me as we go in, and we will see the MRI center and see the weapons that Hamas has hidden inside. This is where patients come in order to get MRI services. We'll proceed into a more secluded area. And the lighting here is out, so we're using flashlights. We're now, as you can see, in an MRI room. I don't know when this was used the last time. But it is definitely an MRI machine. And if you follow me behind the MRI machine, I'll show you what our troops exposed just minutes ago. In military terms, this is a grab bag. Grab and go of a Hamas combatant. And if you zoom in and we get some light over here, what you'll be able to see is military equipment. There is an AK-47, there are cartridges, ammo, there are grenades in here, of course uniform, and all of this was hidden very conveniently, secretly behind the MRI machine. On the other side, we found a backpack with what appears to be very important intelligence, including a laptop, and we'll show you that momentarily. Let's go see the next room.
And those are the top stories for the week. Thank you for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.